Welcome to Al Dia Today, the Latin voice of Central Florida. Javier Molinares say hello to you. Today we're gonna talk with the mayor of the great city of Titusville, Andrew Connors. He's gonna talk about his life, he's gonna talk about his career, and what's going on in Titusville. And our leader, Diana Chavez, will be interviewing him today.
Thank you so much, Javier. Yes, I will be interviewing the new mayor of Titusville, Andrew Connors, and I'm so happy to be part of this new stage, new era of Al Dia Today. So thank you very much.
Stay tuned.
Welcome, everybody. I am very happy, very excited to introduce to you Andrew Connors, mayor of Titusville. And welcome, Andrew.
Thank you very much. Happy to be here.
Yes, and we are so happy that you are in Al Dia today with us. Bienvenido, like we say in Spanish. How is your Spanish, by the way?
I got hola, cerveza, and queso. The basics.
And el baño, por favor.
Oh, I forgot about the
Oh,
baños.
you forgot about the baño. But those are the basics. Okay, so tell us a little bit about your childhood.
Okay.
Where are you from?
Yeah.
What kind of kid were you? Student?
Yeah, so I'm originally from a small town called Clyde, Ohio, which was about 5,000 people. I grew up there and played football and did a lot of different academics and volunteer work there. Moved to Florida about 8 years ago, where I, started raising my family. So, but me growing up is an interesting tale because I was always one of those kids that was too smart for his own good. So I didn't have to study, and which led me to, cause ruckus in the classrooms. And
So you were mischievous and...
I was definitely the class clown and did that type of thing. So, but all in all, you kind of grow out of those things, and then you buckle down in college and learn what to do and what not to do. So.
Okay, so in college you were, a better student, more focused.
Yeah, I was a student, right? So I found that college was actually easier than high school because then you're passionate about what you're learning. So it just made it much more fun, and you just got through it,
And do you think your childhood, like there's a point in your childhood that influenced who you are today?
Absolutely, because what a lot of people don't realize about myself is I was actually raised in a domestic violent household. So it's not one of those things that I talk about often because, you don't want to, maybe be labeled in a certain way, but I haven't lived with the biological parents since I was 16. So, I was fortunate enough that, friends, took me in and allowed me to live there until I got out of high school, and then I put myself through college. So while most college kids were going home at Christmas, I stayed because I didn't really have a place to go back to. So it was kind of unique in how that shaped my view on the world because as somebody who didn't really have family values are so important because I see what life was like without it.
I didn't know that story, and that's very admirable that you put yourself, you work and, moved on, to become a better person.
Absolutely.
That's very admirable. I didn't know that about you.
Yeah, so.
And yes, and then in college, so tell us about what was your favorite class, your relationship with teachers, with other students? Did you have a lot of girlfriends?
I don't know about that, but I was very, very passionate about being involved. So I found that, college was, again, a little on the easier side because when you're passionate about what you're learning, studying wasn't that challenging, right? So you have a lot of time to kill. So I felt like getting involved and learning the ropes was important. I was in a fraternity in college. But not only just in a fraternity, but learning leadership skills. Because what a lot of people don't, they associate the fraternity with the things they see on TV.
Right.
They don't see the business aspect of it. You're running a 501c3. And you're 20 years old, right? That's pretty crazy thinking about filing Form 990s when you're that young, right? And then also get involved in putting on your own philanthropy projects. I think that's really critical to understanding how that works. Also, when you have a group of 40, 18 to 22-year-olds, how do you get everybody to work together, right? And move forward and put your philanthropy on, get your budget passed, have elections of who's going to be president, who's going to be treasurer, who's going to be
Yes,
secretary.
you have a lot of real,
Yeah.
things to think about.
Exactly. So
What year was that? Like around college?
2007 to 2011
Okay.
I was in college. Yeah. So I think all those things kind of shape who you are. So now as mayor, people are like, oh, how did you get Robert's Rules of Order down so quickly? And I'm like, because I did it in college. I had meetings, I had these type of experiences of trying to get a people together that don't always agree to move forward.
And Andrew, you are the youngest mayor Titusville ever had, right?
Second youngest.
Second youngest. Who was the first one?
I forget his name, but he was mayor in 1971. He was 34.
He was 34, and you are
36.
36. Okay,
So-
second youngest mayor.
Yeah, second youngest mayor, but I was younger than Truman Scarborough when he took office, and also like Truman Scarborough, the second person to ever hold the office of mayor who hadn't served on city council before. So I jumped right into that leadership role without serving on city council.
Well, that's amazing. That's a long journey.
It's something.
Yes. And then how you end up here in Titusville?
So I came out of college, and at 22 years old, I became the executive director of a $50 million healthcare facility. So my degree in college was healthcare administration. I specialized in long-term care administration. I love my older folks and taking care of them. And so after doing that for a couple of years, I realized I was kind of getting burnt out of being the boss, the responsibilities of being on call 24/7. And my wife and I were dating, getting serious, and I wanted a life.
Okay.
So that's where I started my own business in benefits consulting. That led me to a career with Aflac. And then I got recruited to come down here with Aflac and train other people how to do that. And so that was specifically Brevard County. So we rented for a year in Port St. John, traveled the county up and down. My wife was an ICU travel nurse, so we saw the entire county.
Entire county,
And
yes.
we decided that Titusville was where we were going to raise our future kids, and we did.
And hold your thoughts right there. We are going to that commercial break, and then your family will be next.
Okay, awesome.
We'll be right back. Welcome back, and Aldea today. I am here with Andrew Connors, Mayor of Titusville, and he was telling us about how, his life in Ohio and how he ended up here in Titusville. After 8 years of living in Titusville, you had the greatest idea to become mayor, to run for mayor. What was the reaction, your family's reaction, your wife's reaction? How everything, like, honey, we need to talk. Like, how was the conversation with her?
It's funny that you asked that, because it was actually a very quick conversation. I was just racking my brain, just feeling like God was calling me to do this thing, and I didn't know why. And I just walked into our bedroom one night. She was already laying in bed looking at Facebook, kind of winding down for the evening. And I said, honey, I'm running for mayor. She's like, you're doing what? And that was pretty much the conversation, because she knows when, I'm called to do something, or I put my mind to do something, I'm going to do it.
Like, she knew immediately
Yeah.
that there was no turning back.
Yeah, pretty much. And she was obviously concerned about the downsides of, our family and social media. And I said, honey, it's no big deal. It's the city of Titusville. Like, it's not going to get that bad. I mean, I was wrong, but, still, like, she was stood by my side no matter what. So.
We know how that goes, yes. And, okay, so you have 2 children,
Yep.
2 little kids, boys.
Yep.
How old are they?
6 and 2.
6 and 2, okay. And, I mean, do they understand what's going on? Do they know? Maybe the 6-year-old, Father is the new mayor of Titusville.
Yes, definitely the older one does, because he's already tried to take advantage of that. I was just newly elected. I hadn't even gotten through the week or been sworn in, and he got into a little trouble at school not getting along with his friends, and they're like, why are you not getting along? He's like, my dad's the mayor, I can do what I want. And so we had to have a really tough conversation like immediately, and like you should have said, my dad's the mayor, and he's gonna find out if I'm not listening. So we had to write some sentences and make some apologies, but it's definitely, I think, a good thing for our family, because the most important thing for me is teaching my kids the value of community service.
Mm-hmm.
The absolute most important.
And how the political career has impacted your family?
So far, it really hasn't. It's just another thing of community service that I'm doing. So what I've done is I've kind of just scaled back some of the other things that I'm doing,
Mm-hmm.
and let this kind of take its place, because again, it's very, very important that my kids understand how you interact in a community. You go out, you roll up your sleeves, you make your community better. You don't sit around all day on Facebook complaining that things are bad.
Yeah,
You
you
be a part of
go
this.
and make a difference.
You be
You
a
get
part of
out and make a difference.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You show up.
Yep.
And that's what what people really appreciate, and what I hear that they want to see,
Mhm.
just show up.
Yeah, be a part of the solution. Don't be a part of the problem.
Absolutely. And how do you balance the demands of a public office with your personal life?
I'm still figuring that out. I've only been
Like
in
going to
office
the
today.
movies, going to the restaurant. Like,
Yeah, I'm still only been in office 2.5 weeks, but it has been exciting, because a lot of people will stop you and say, hey, congratulations, hey, I voted for you, hey, I support you, which is always doing.
mm-hmm.
Nice to hear, but outside of my political life, I guess you'd say, my family and I are pretty much homebodies. So,
Mhm.
especially on Sundays, every day we go to church and we spend the day together as a family. Even if we're going to kill each other, we're going to do it as a family together. We're going to spend that day
And that's how
together.
you manage, the stress, and, you stay grounded.
Exactly.
I believe.
And I still take my kids to football practice and soccer practice, and we still go to the games on Saturday, and that's what I feel like makes me very, very relatable, because I'm just a regular person, that just decided to do something to make my community better. So I hope, if anything, I can inspire everybody, no matter where you are in your life, that get involved and make a difference.
And also your youth too, that people feel the connection, that you understand better, that you're looking forward the future.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Until I got me up there that was currently raising kids, and I think that's kind of a big deal, because the decisions we make affect parents day in and day out that are struggling, going through the grind, trying to pay their bills, trying to put their kids through daycare. Even now, summer camp is a luxury. Summer
Yeah.
camp costs $150 a week
It's
per
very
child
expensive.
on average. If you have 2 kids, that's unaffordable for a lot. So, how do we come together as a community and take care of our next generation? Because if we don't have the next generation, we have nothing. I've been telling people throughout the campaign, and even since I've been elected, the future starts now, and we got to shape our kids, because we're not going to change adults' behavior. I'm never going to go to the gym and look like as great as Miss Diana is here. So we got to impact the children now, and still have healthy, good habits for them, and make sure they have opportunities to be successful.
Hi, thank you, Andrew. And on our next segment, we are going to talk about your plans for Titusville, what is coming up, the future, and tourism. What do we have to look forward to?
Absolutely.
So we'll be right back. Stay tuned. Welcome back to Al Dia Today with Titusville Mayor Andrew Connors, the first millennial mayor in Titusville.
That's right.
And in Brevard County?
Probably.
Probably. Andrew, now tell us your ideas or plans to grow tourism in Titusville, in the area. We have so much nature, we have space, so much place to grow.
Mhm.
What is coming? What we have to look forward to?
Yeah, there's a lot of amazing things going on in Titusville. I believe we have about 70 different building projects in development currently. But when we talk about tourism, Titusville has the second highest hotel bed rates in all of Brevard County. So when you think about that, that's based on supply and demand. So that means more people are coming to Titusville to stay than everywhere else except for Cocoa Beach. We're right up there, right next to them. And we're actually bringing 3 new hotels online. We have a new event center that's being built currently at the Valiant Air Command Warburg Museum, which will have seating, I believe, events up to 350 people. So that's really exciting. And so we have a lot of amazing things going on. The thing that we have to focus on as a city government is how do we capitalize on tourism for our residents. It's great that tourists are coming here, but oftentimes you see them come here, watch a rocket launch, trash our park, and then leave.
And live, yeah. We want them to stay, invest, and leave some money in the area.
And not just trash our park, buy Diet Coke at 7-Eleven on their way out. So we really need to focus on that, and I have a plan for how we're going to address that so we can have more money into the city's coffers so that we can do more beautification projects, we can invest in our infrastructure, and not only that, but, you know, I haven't told anybody this yet. You're my first.
Please.
Maybe a Titusville Convention Center. So that's what's, big things are on the horizon here in Titusville.
That would be amazing. That would be amazing. And what can we do in Titusville to make younger people stay? Because people, you know, students graduate from high school and they go away for college and then come back. What can we do for them to come back or stay?
Yeah, I think it's all about having things that young people want, right? Because they're attracted to those things where they can go out and they can walk around, they can shop, they can dine, they can get into mischief or whatever they want to do. And unfortunately, our downtown area is kind of limited because it's right on a state highway, which is US 1. So my future plans, and again, this is a 15-year out goal, that we have something like Cocoa Village west of US 1. Because that's what we really need, so that it's walkable, it's safe, people can, you know, take their dogs around, maybe their kids, and hit a microbrew, hit an axe throwing place, go out and see those things. And I believe the anchor really will be the Titusville Playhouse and their $70 million expansion that they're trying to fundraise for. So I'm doing everything I can to support the Titusville Playhouse so that they can grow, so that they can be our anchor, so that we can move our downtown west, so that people want to shop, save, play, have a bunch of great experiences, so that the young crowd wants to stay here. In addition, we need more higher end housing for those dual income, no kids, engineers folks that work out at the Space Center. Currently, they're all working out there, driving on our roads, and then living in Vieira.
Yeah, or Orlando, or East Orlando.
So we need more housing to accommodate that, so that they're buying into our city, they're staying here, they're living here. And then when you get to folks like me, the old people now in the room, right, the millennials, because we're the aging generation, unfortunately, we're raising kids. And right now in Titusville, there's only 2 places to have a kid's birthday party: the bowling alley and the movie theater. So that's a challenge, right? And so we need more places and opportunities for young families with children to be able to go out, spend their money right here in town.
That was a big issue too, because we used to have a skating rink, and because of security and reasons, it had to be closed. And safety, I should say, you know.
Well, and I think it's a different business model.
And how can we approach that? You know, like you mentioned, safety for the citizens, but how can we? What ideas do you have to have a safe environment for teenagers, for the middle schoolers to go and have fun?
Yeah, I think it all starts with economic development, because when you look at crime and crime statistics and safety, those things go away when you have very good economic development and you have a high median income, right? So we really need to raise every boat basically in Titusville so that there are safe areas and people can go out and spend their money, because crime usually only happens in the lower socioeconomic neighborhoods. So we need to make sure we're doing everything we can to improve those neighborhoods and give them every opportunity to be successful. When we talk about businesses in Titusville for those young families, it really all comes down to regulation. Historically, Titusville has been very anti-business, so to speak, in terms of its regulation. And
what do you think why do you think that's the mentality?
I think you have a group of folks that have their home and they don't care if anybody else gets their home. That's why there's this anti-development mentality. They'll chalk it up to there's a tree that we need to protect, but they forget there was a tree where somebody built their home in the past. So we need to make sure we're not closing the door behind us, and we're giving everybody an opportunity for that generational wealth experience of owning their own home. And that is the key, is being able to relax some of these regulations so that people can get things built, which would allow the home prices to come down. Because the only thing that's gonna save that is more homes.
Absolutely.
Because supply and demand are key.
Yes. And now with SpaceX and Blue Origin, all those companies expanding, growing, we have a lot to look forward to.
Absolutely.
And have you been in touch with them, or?
Like everybody else, it's been a challenge to get across the river, so my focus is on businesses on this side of the river and people on this side of the river, because they're my residents and those are the folks that I'm looking out for.
Okay, and one of the questions that I really wanted to ask you is, what keeps you motivated when you face personal challenges? And, well, personal and professional challenges. What keeps you going, motivated?
You know, I believe that, you know, when you face obstacles, it's always for a reason, right? You know, and maybe that wasn't the path you were originally meant to take, but, you know, when you experience that, you just gotta keep moving on, you know, and keep fighting for the next generation. I think about my kids. My kids are fortunate, but not every kid is. And I was that unfortunate kid. So you need somebody to take a chance on them. You need somebody that's going to inspire them, to let them know that they can climb out of whatever situation they're in.
Now, one last question. What do you think your legacy will be as a mayor of Titusville?
You know, that's something I have not given any thought to. Probably something I probably should think about, but like every person who gives to their community, you just really hope that you made a difference in somebody else's life. You know, you're trying to plant trees that you'll never sit under the shade for, and that's what I'm trying to do, is set Titusville up to be successful 20 to 50 years down the road. So I hope that will be my legacy, and I hope somebody remembers it. But at the end of the day, that's written by history, not me.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much, Mayor, first millennial, Mayor of Titusville, Andrew Connors. Thank you so much for coming today, for your time, and thank you for your interview. Yes, and like I said, your time to Aldea Today in this new era, new stage of Aldea Today.
My pleasure. Happy to be here, and just want to let everybody know I'm accessible. So if you live in Titusville and you have ideas for our future, I'll be happy to listen.
What about saying goodbye in Spanish?
Adios.
Adios. Muchas gracias.